Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Warrior Way. I wanted to discuss that feeling that comes up, as I kind of mentioned in this morning's poem that I called Again and Again, Find Your Zen, where you keep on having to come back to find your equilibrium, to find your place of like breathing and just coming back to the present moment. The challenges on the spiritual journey is very simple because the more you go in, the more challenges sometimes come out externally, in a sense, because the closer you get to the breakthrough, the closer you get to the oneness of it all, the more the shadows creep in and become so loud. The noise can become so loud around you because that means the light is breaking through, like breaking through. It's kind of like, the morning when the sun comes up, like gradually gets stronger and stronger and stronger, but it doesn't just burst forth. It has to come out slowly to take over the darkness in a sense. It just doesn't happen right away. It happens over a period of time, but the darkness comes first and then the light. In the Jewish tradition, how I grew up, it was like the night comes before the day, which makes sense in a way because the darkness, right? In creation of the universe, in the Bible, it says that there was light, right? Meaning that there was emptiness or darkness, and then from that darkness came this light. It's like I have this shadow right now of half darkness, half light. This is amazing for this video, and that's kind of like Two Face. It's kind of like it's amazing, and it's how our lives really are. Is that our lives are this we are almost like this two-faced type of situation where, but it's one entity. It's one beautiful entity that there it goes the ebbs and flows of life, like the ups and downs, like the river, like the waves, like right. So the wave goes all the way back and then crashes, and it goes up and down, and that's our breath, rising, falling, rising, falling, and it's allowing ourselves to that's the place of creation. So that's the reason why, like, when people say, like, well, if you really believe that God does everything, like, why even create anything, or why do YouTube at all? The point is because you are in a place of where that feeling comes up because of the shadow aspect of ourselves, and that since that shadow aspect comes up, we have to do something with it. That's where we have this push of, like, when you're bored, it's like, well, I want to do something. So, like, some people will draw, some people will go dancing, some people will sing, some people will create videos, some people will do whatever it is, and each person has their own unique thing they need to do. Now, when we don't do this, we end up going into a place of work mode where we have to go work for somebody. We have to go do that to, like, work to make sure that we have what we need for our families, and we create these things for ourselves to feel like, oh, we're the ones actually in control, and therefore we have to go do these things. And it's really the opposite of understanding we have no control over those things. It's the illusion of control. However, we still will end up doing something. So we just create because we need to create, because we're here to create things, whether it's creating children, whether it's creating a picture, whatever the creation is, we're here to create, and we use the shadowy aspects of ourselves to fuel ourselves for this creation, to be able to create something like a YouTube page or a TikTok or an art piece or anything we're doing. Everything is creation. Even like when we're speaking to our friends, we're creating by using our words. Like, what is words? Like, why are we even talking to each other at all? Right? Like, obviously birds make sounds and animals make sounds, but like, okay, so let's use plants. Like, plants, you don't think are communicating just because they don't talk? I think they are communicating. Actually, there is proof that under the ground, the roots are all connected to each other underground, and the reason they're able to do that is because they're communicating with each other what their needs are. I'm not a big science guy, but I did watch some documentaries with friends way back, and it talked about this idea that really there's a lot of communication in the plant life that's going on. They've actually shown also that if you put light next to a plant, the plant will go towards the light. If you play music and you put the music together with light, and then you remove the light and just play the music, the plant will start leaning towards the music. So it definitely, there's communication, definitely, even if something's not speaking. But the reason we speak is because that's our form of creation. We are creating by our speech. So every single thing we're doing here is another step in creation, but it's using these shadowy aspects of ourselves. And I'm wearing a Hellfire shirt, so it's like the hell, right? That hell realm. It's that part of us that's not scary. It's the part that it feels scary, but to use it as fuel to energize yourself. I used to be an athlete. I say used to be. I guess I still am on some level, but I used to play sports, and what would drive me is this like feeling of like strength comes from this, like, back then maybe it was anger, maybe, But I would say now what fuels me is that feeling of like, all right, I got to use my energy. I heard in a video from, it was a podcast with, I think it was Joe Rogan, and I forgot, I always forget his name. Um, he loves Ram Dass, but I forget, he's a funny guy, comedian on. Anyway, they were having a podcast and they were saying that like maybe the whole point is like we're supposed to use a lot of energy because if we don't use up the energy, we're going to end up doing destructive things. Or instead of creating, we'll be destroying. And that's the two sides again, like I've mentioned about the shadow and the light, is that when you're not being a light, you're being a shadow in a sense. You're going to end up being that way. So people get upset when people are so positive, like, why are you so positive? Like, you can't be so positive. Well, it's actually, you want to be positive as much as possible and lean into that because otherwise you end up going to this darker place. Now, the darker place is a lesson to learn that, oh, it's like I go to sleep. Is that darkness when you sleep? Because it technically is. You're closing your eyes and there's a darkness, but it's order for you to have light when you wake up. But in the darkness itself, there's another reality going on, right? It's not always bad to be dreaming. It's not always bad to be sleeping. It's actually really good. It's fuel, it's energy. You're building up energy for the next day, for the next moment. So it's all for us to appreciate that we would, it's like we wouldn't appreciate light without the darkness. It's kind of like the question of why would we even have a world? Why would God create the world? Why, if we're all God, if we're all one, and we in a sense created the world, we created ourselves. Why would we even do this? Because we wanted to have not just darkness, we wanted to have light. We wanted to awaken to the realities of creating different realities. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it sounded good in the moment. But it's true in a sense that we couldn't create just one side of things because with just one side, we wouldn't have the other side and we wouldn't be able to appreciate if we didn't have what we call, well, there's suffering. It's only suffering if you're caught up in here. And I'm a human, so sometimes it happens to me, but I keep coming back to the present through meditation. But meditation really led me to the breath, which is every single second of every single waking hour of every single day. It's literally right now. It never stops happening. It's continuously happening over and over again. And whenever you lose it, just keep coming back. Whenever you feel that shadow creeping in on you, just turn to the light. And just appreciate the moment you're in. Really do. I know it's not easy for a lot of us. And I'm talking to myself too when I'm on these videos to remind myself, hey, it's not about who watches a video. It's not about who gives a check mark on a video. It's not about the negative or positive comments on a video, by the way. It's not even about that. It's about spreading light, about that we're all here to help each other. We're all walking each other home, as my teacher says, Ram Dass would say. We're all here to walk each other home, literally. So I'm walking you home. You're walking me home. We're walking home. We're walking home together. And I hope this helped in some way. And if it did, please make a comment, share what you liked about it, share your own stories by your own shadows. I would love to hear. And I hope you have a great rest of the day. Thank you for being here.